one thing I would love to add on this side is because I haven't explained Foursquare yet. So what people might understand by now is that Foursquare, uh, the first version was or became a personalized city guide, starting with New York and then all over the world, which sounds too easy to be true by everything that we talked about. That it just stick to that because we already slightly mentioned that things changed. Can you just shortly and briefly for the understanding of the audience, take us through the transition phase when you also stepped down as a CEO because of the pivot in the business model, not anything else. Like it's not like not the full. I think the products were then just a bit like split, but it's not like Foursquare doesn't have the consumer part anymore. It's just something new happened and emerged, and I think it's amazing to talk about this as well. What can happen from the first product and how it can transform or change the whole story of a company.
Yeah, I mean, our North Star was building, contextual computing for cities, right? Like software that tells you where magical things are, software that acts like a superpower to help you connect you with places and your friends, right? And we had built an audience of users, and we were monetizing that through ads, right? Like we know where people go. We should be able to tell people other places they should go. People should pay us for the referral fee or for the opportunity to put an ad in front of them. But at the time, you've got like things like Facebook taking off like wildfire and Twitter taking off like crazy and Snapchat growing at a huge clip. And, like we might have had 50 million users, but like maybe 10 million of them were in the United States, less than that. And it was difficult to build a business, an ad business that would support the size of the company, 150 engineers, whatnot, on that many users, right? And we didn't have Twitter scale, we didn't have Facebook scale, we didn't have Snapchat scale, and we weren't a social sharing platform. Like we weren't an everyday use case for people, and maybe people were checking out a coffee shop or something, but like they weren't like living on Instagram and they weren't living on Foursquare. They had the same way they were living on Instagram, living on Snapchat. It's different use case, right? And so there's a moment in which we're going to have to find another business model here. We're going to have to augment this with other business models, and that's when we started to realize that there was real value in the data, right? Not just the crowdsourced map of the world, but kind of this aggregate data, like where are people going? Where are they not going? People that go here, they also go here, right? You could use that for advertising, use it for analytics. You could use it for attribution. You could, we had hedge funds that wanted to trade off of the data, right? How many people went to Home Depot this quarter versus last quarter? And can you predict the rise and fall of the stock market based on foot traffic trends? Anyway, the data started to become a really interesting a business model for us. And, there's this one point where I had like a frank conversation with the board. It was like, I'm a consumer product person. I wake up every day and I think of things that you can build for consumers. Like I do not wake up in the morning thinking about advertising technology. I do not wake up in the morning thinking about, dashboards for data insights, right? And if that's the direction the company is going, we should, the company deserves someone that wakes up every morning thinking about that stuff and obsessing over that. I'm just not the right CEO for the company at this stage. And I got that. I mean, it was hard to make the decision. It was hard to find a replacement. But I had the help and support of the board, and so that's what we went and we did.
I think one story that it reminds me of is a bit like another company that started as a game, but which is not 1,000% similar to Foursquare, but you always talk about or talk about the gamified aspects. And then turned into a communication software, which was Slack, where they started building a game like the second time, trying to build the same game. And this time, instead of a photo sharing like Flickr, it became then Slack, a communication app. And it's amazing to see that while you are building your product, you're often building so many different applications, which could be then part of your or another business model as a backup or as an addition or which is amazing for founders to think about at some point. They don't have to, and if everything that you plan on doing works, then you don't have to rely on this, but it's still something or a thought process that a lot of founders will never start, even when it could be helpful.
Yeah, well, I think there's different types of like founders and entrepreneurs too. I think there's certain people that would like lean into that opportunity, like, hey, I'm gonna go and learn everything I can about business analytics and about the ad tech industry, and that, I think that's fantastic. I just wasn't that person. Like, even today, whenever 10 years after I've stepped out from CEO, like I'm still doing the same thing. I make weird things that are meant to be consumed by people, like their products and toys and consumer experiences. Just kind of what I do. That's what I like to do. Um, and it's I think different people navigate those challenges different ways.